Hello and welcome to a new Hangout on Air. My name is Sibel and I am part of the Google AdWords support team here. And today we will be discussing measurements and attribution, which is how we can track online campaigns via analytics accurately and constantly. It is very important for you as an agency or if you have your own AdWords account to be able to track the performance of your campaigns or in general your online marketing. So why would we want to track our online marketing? The first thing that Google Analytics allows us to track is the type of traffic, or where is our traffic coming from. The main goal of having a website is to get people onto your website to perform an action, whether that means making a call, making a purchase, converting by signing up to a service that you offer. All of those actions could be taken on a website, and it's very important for you to know your advertising, where is your advertisements taking, or which of your advertisements are taking your clients into the website. So where is the traffic coming from? So first thing we need to know, how does Google Analytics report the source of your traffic? There are four main types of traffic. First of all, you have the search traffic, or what we call organic traffic. So when a client goes into google.com or bing.com to a search engine and types in certain keyword, it will trigger your website to appear as an organic result, and people would only click on your website and click onto the organic result website and enter your landing page or enter your page. You have referral traffic, which is another type of traffic. It's when you have your website, your URL, appearing on other websites. For example, we discussed social media with referral traffic. So for example, if someone was on a social platform and they saw your website, they just click from there and they enter your website. So they were referred from the social website to enter yours. So that also is a source of traffic. The third type of traffic is direct traffic. It is when the client or the user knows your website and they just go into the browser, type in the website and press enter, and they enter directly your page. And the last type and the most important one is the campaigns or the AdWords traffic. So when you are creating paid search or creating an AdWords account and you have campaigns on AdWords account and you have your ads and everything, and people click on your ads that you've created on AdWords and they entered your website, that is another source of traffic. So to go into more details about each source of traffic, for example, when we said organic, we say the medium is organic. Our source came from Google, so the user entered google.com and wrote the keyword cardinal path. So the term cardinal path is the term that triggered your website to appear on google.com organically. So that is how we explain the table you see in front of you. It's very important at this stage to understand the difference between a source, a medium, a campaign, a term, and content. Because later in our presentation, we will be using those terms to create our tracking codes. So here you can see that this itself, just identifying all that, will show on analytics in the following format: source/medium Google organic, keyword cardinal path. It resulted in 718 visits. So when people typed in the word cardinal path, it got 718 visits on your website. Similarly, let's assume the client or the user entered bing.com, and from bing.com also it was an organic search. They typed in cardinal path, and you see that from Bing you have 145 visits in comparison to the visits from Google. So that way you'll know that, well, the visits in Google might be, or your organic search in Google is performing better than on Bing. So As well, another example when we're talking about median CPC or your campaigns, cost per click, what you're doing on AdWords, you will see also the source as Google. So we have two similar sources, Google for the organic and Google for AdWords. However, the medium here changes. You have organic versus CPC or paid clicks, and then you'll notice that it's your campaign GA training. So it's the campaign in your AdWords that is triggering that triggered the ad that people clicked on and in turn entered your website. And in order to get your ad, people use the word analytics training. So similarly, you see it on Google Analytics in this form, Google/CPC, the campaign is GA training. You see that you got 809 visits just from having online advertising using AdWords, and that it resulted in 809 visits of your page. Similarly, in the other type of traffic, we have referral traffic. So for example, the client went to services.google.com, so your link in the services.google.com page, clicked on your link, and entered your website. So that was traffic done through referral. The referral page was services.google.com, and as well you see it in analytics like this, and you notice that you got 1,357 visits from referrals. And final type of traffic, direct traffic. So you just type in the website in the browser, press enter, you enter the website directly, and you see it as direct/none on analytics, and you notice that you have 8,621 visits that resulted from direct search or just direct traffic. So now that you know the different types of traffic, you will understand, or it will show us the importance of having tags, of tagging from where is our traffic coming from. For example, in this case, let's say you have a website, yahoo.com or the newyorktimes.com, and someone clicked on your banner ad that's appearing on the newyorktimes.com. In this case, you do not have any tags. So what will appear on Google Analytics would be that the client clicked on your website that is on the newyorktimes.com. However, if you look into the slide right now that is appearing in front of you, the client did not click on a website. However, they clicked on your banner, or they clicked on the display ad that you have, which is CPC. So the information that is appearing in front of you right now is inaccurate. Rather than it saying that the source medium is Google and the medium is CPC, it says it's referral, which is not the case. So the first reason that you need to have tracking, or you need to have tracking, is to avoid inaccurate information. Similarly here, people found your website on a newspaper, and then went and typed in the website on their browser. The system will directly consider it a direct traffic. However, that's not the case. It's your newspaper or it's your advertising that is happening via your offline advertising that you're doing through using newspapers is what triggered people to enter the website. And the way that you can track how newspapers can trigger website visits, we will discuss it in a few. So the main reason to track your online advertising, also your offline advertising, which is something we will discuss in a bit, is because a marketing campaign doesn't only consist of AdWords. It consists of banners of AdWords, it consists of social media, referrals, it consists of direct search. When we go onto the search and type in the website, it consists of the search engine, organic searches, and it also consists of offline advertising, newspapers, billboards. So all that consists of a marketing campaign, and you as an advertiser need to know where or which channel is resulting in the highest conversions and focus on the best channel to increase your revenue in the future. So that is the main That is the main reason around tracking or using tracking parameters. Now, how do we track the traffic? What do we mean by tracking parameters? So understanding tracking parameters. Let's go back to this table where we have the source is Google or Bing, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of which are CPC medians. And you have organic versus CPC. So in order to track, the first thing you have to do is to have this table or have the source, the medium, the campaign, the term, the content, all in front of you. Okay, because those are the terms in this table is what you will be using to create the tracking template. So let us start with the first example. This tracking template is called a UTM. So what we need to create using the source, the medium, the campaign, the term, the content is UTM. So the first thing we need to discuss here is, let's say you have this ad. So this is a paid ad, Google Analytics class, and you can see that you have the destination URL, www.cardinalpath.com/landingpage.html. You need to add the UTM to the landing page. So if you see in front of you, you have the question mark, and just after the question mark, you have the following: UTM_source equals to Bing. So if you look into the table above, you see source, Bing. Then you have medium equals to CPC. So the medium, it's an advertisement. It's done on AdWords, so it's a click, it's cost per click. Then you have and UTM/campaign equals to GA training, which means you want to see how much traffic is coming from the GA training, specifically how much traffic is coming when people are searching for the word analytics training on Bing. That's what this UTM is going to give you, the information that's going to provide you. Similarly, another example. Now we have Yahoo display. So it's also CPC. However, it's not on Google. It is on Yahoo. So people went on yahoo.com, saw your banner on top of the page, clicked on your banner, entered your website. You want to see how many visits did you get from having this banner or having this image ad appearing on yahoo.com. All you have to do is add the following UTM on your landing page, which is on the landing page that is connected to the image ad, of course, which is UTM_source equals to Yahoo displays, since the ad is appearing on Yahoo. Then, and UTM/medium equals to CPC, and UTM/campaign equals to training display, so that's the campaign that is triggering this ad, and UTM/content equals to ad creative 1. Ad creative, you want to see, when we discuss ad creatives, we mean different ad formats. On Yahoo, you might have 2 ad formats appearing. You want to see which one is performing better. Is it the one, let's say, with AdWords and analytics classes as a headline, or is it the one that says AdWords and analytics sign up now, for example? So you have 2 different ad creatives, and you want to understand which is performing better. So as well, so that is another reason, or that is another option that UTM tracking would provide you more information. Similarly, if we have Twitter or social advertising using Twitter, all you have to do is when you type in a tweet which says learn how to customize your e-commerce tracking code, and then you see this very small URL, http://bit. This small URL would be a shortened URL of www.cardinalpath.com/landing-page UTM/source equals to Twitter, since the source is Twitter, and UTM/medium equals to social, and the campaign is branding. So when people click on this shortened link from Twitter, the and they enter your website, the information or the traffic, the number of visits that Twitter has resulted in will directly be communicated in Google Analytics. So, as you saw, just to recap very fast, we have the UTM tracking code, which is the UTM that we need to set on our landing pages. It is made up from the medium, the source, the campaign, the term, and the ad creative. It shows you which of your marketing channels or which exact advertisement you have, whether it's paid advertisements or it's offline or it's even having referrals or your social media. It tells you exactly how many visits you have received from each of those channels just by creating that very small snippet and adding it to your landing page. There is some help. So on the Google Analytics page, you have the URL builder, which will make it much easier for you rather than going in and editing it manually. All you have to do is you type in the campaign source, the campaign medium, the campaign term, the campaign content, also the date. It could be how long your campaign is running. As you can see, December 16, 2012. So as well, and the campaign name, branding, and you just generate the URL. So having this URL, you could share it via Twitter, via Facebook, or you can also share it, or you can have it and add it at the end of your landing pages on AdWords. Also, you can have it as a referral link on other websites to understand exactly where the traffic is coming from. For AdWords advertisers, so you will need the UTM for organic, for referral, for direct traffic. However, and you will need to manually set. The UTM. However, what's really good here is that for AdWords, it's set automatically by just selecting yes for auto tagging, and you do that in your preferences in the account page, in the account preferences page. Having auto tagging on would save the work of manually tagging every destination URL, definitely, and it will eliminate, and what's very important here, it will actually eliminate the errors you can introduce when you attempt to manually tag each URL. As well, it's very important to note that attempting to use both manual and auto tagging would result in data discrepancies, and that is something you need to avoid completely. As well, auto tagging will offer a more detailed reporting, so you'll have analytics reporting and you will have better reporting on AdWords itself. So I would definitely recommend, if you are also doing online advertising via AdWords, to have auto tagging set on yes. So have auto tagging, and it will just help. It will just make the whole tagging process much easier. As well, you need to have UTM tagging on the other forms of traffic to make sure which traffic, or the traffic, where is it coming exactly from. So here you could see that Google, CPC, campaign name, bid keyword, ad headline. It's exactly like we saw in the earlier examples. Now, I've mentioned earlier that you can track offline campaigns using Google Analytics, which is an online platform. It's very interesting to be able to do that, because at this stage, advertisers, they need the largest amount of information. They want to see the results. They want to notice that the results are tangible, they're happening. So as you mentioned earlier as well, marketing is made up of so many different channels online, and within online marketing itself, there's so many things. As well, within offline marketing, there's so many things. So for example, you are doing offline advertising using a magazine. So you have your ad on a magazine, and at the end of the ad, you say, go to example.com/chickens, go to your website URL. The client types in this URL, and they would enter the website, and they will enter the website. Now, the catch here, what's different here is that this shortened URL is made up, so if we were to expand this shortened URL, go to example.com or example.com/chickens, it will be expanded in the following format, which you see in front of you right now, www.example.co.com/chickens, UTM_campaign equals to animals, UTM_source equals to XYZ magazine. So here you go, the source would be the magazine, and when the user types it in online, you will know that they got this URL from the newspaper, hence they came into your website just after looking into the newspaper. Now, there might be a very small problem with having, so this small URL is what we call a vanity URL. It's the URL we track offline. Now, what could be the problem with the earlier vanity URL is the /chickens. So there's a big probability that your user will not type /chickens. They will just enter the website and go example.com, and then they will search for the chickens page, for example. So what we can do is you can actually purchase a vanity URL. It's just a vanity domain, and you put that vanity domain on the magazine, and people will just type it and you will not be risking losing information because the client or the user did not type the /chicken or the second part of the URL. And what's cool about that, or what's interesting about that, is you can track different ad formats. For example, if we remain in the example here, we had chicken, maybe at the other one you could have a squirrel or you could have an ostrich. So you can understand which ad or which creative ad is triggering more people to enter your website. And based on that, you will have a better understanding whether you need to invest in the ad that is more about the chickens page, or you need to focus on, for example, ostrich. So that would give you a lot of insights. Now we get to the second part of today's presentation, which is e-commerce. It's very important to be able to track e-commerce, and you can do that with analytics. So when we are tracking e-commerce, we are tracking conversions that happened on your online store. So e-commerce is only for an online store. And they are transactional data. Now, it's very important to know that having e-commerce tracking does not replace inventory management, accounting systems, and order tracking, because Google Analytics will miss transactions. There's always a small percentage of people that don't have cookies or JavaScript enabled, or browsers that might prevent analytics code from firing, which will give you inaccurate information. So it's very important to have inventory management, to have accounting systems, to have order tracking for your online store, along with e-commerce. Now, how do we set up e-commerce in Google Analytics? The first thing you need to do is to select that your website is an e-commerce site, and the administrator could usually do that. It's very simple. And there's a lot of online websites that offer this option easily because they know people are tracking using Google Analytics, so it's usually find it in the settings. And the second step is to add a code on your thank you page, which is the final page before people check out. The final page after people checked out and made the purchase. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we will be track targeting the thank you page, since it is the last page. It is the page that the website builds dynamically and tells the user exactly what they've bought and all the details around the transaction. The template of, and what's good about it is that the template of this page is the same no matter what is purchased, and the details are typically pulled from the database dynamically, so that each user would see their own order. So it has all the information needed. So and that is because it has all the information needed on the thank you page. In analytics, we need to capture the information we see in the thank you page, which explains why we need to have our code set on the thank you page, the e-commerce code. Now you see in front of you the e-commerce code. I'd recommend to have your web developer or the webmaster to support you when setting those codes. However, and usually webmasters could easily set it up because it's just very basic coding here. However, we will go like very fast through the code just to give you an idea of how it is or how it looks like, and each of its parts. So we can divide the code into 4 compartments: A, B, C, and D. A is the first code, and this one is the base Google Analytics code. You can just copy and paste it into your website pages, or you can make very small modifications. That you and your web developer can perform. However, having a GA account will force you to have this code set on all your web pages. So that is the basic one. Then we go to the second part, which is where we'll be focusing on _ad trans, which means which gives us the transaction and its details. And here's where you supply the order ID that your shopping cart software has created. So you put in the order ID, the total price of that order, if there's any tax as well, and the shipping cost as well. You can see here you have affiliation, state, and country. And so many cases they're not even used, so you can leave them as empty. But the main thing that you have to have here under _ad trans is the order ID, the order ID, the total price, if there's tax, the tax, and the shipping costs. The third compartment, or the third part of your URL, is the items. So first, the part before you put the transaction details, then you go into more specific details by adding each item. Here you put the product details. The product details, the price, the quantity, and the SKU number, as you can see in front of you here. And for example, you have the first item, it's red socks, that's the product name. The category is in socks, and it costs us $5. It costs $5 or $5, and you have the quantity. You have 2 of those 2 pairs of red socks in your inventory. Similarly, blue socks as well. The product name, category is socks. You have 5. It costs $5, and you have only 1 pair left in stock. Or to sell. So that should be added on your. That should be on the e-commerce code under _ad item. And finally, you have the last one, which is track trans. It's just the code that tells the system that you want the information to be transferred or transported to Google Analytics. So just having this will send all the data back to Google Analytics. After you have set up e-commerce, so now you've created the code, you had the code on all your web pages, you go into Google Analytics. You can start with the main information, such as how much you have sold, which products have you sold, the quantities. As you can see here, you have red socks, blue socks, green socks, brown socks, the quantities that you have sold, how much did they cost you, the average revenue, the average price of each. So it's just general information that you can get from just going into e-commerce and then product performance. Another type of or other information that you can really make use of, so everything discussed here, product average, is time to purchase. Here it's a very interesting report that would provide you with a lot of insight, because it will show you exactly how long did it take the user to purchase your product. So you have 62.56% of people that actually purchased anything or made a transaction didn't wait. They just made the transaction the second they went into the website, they looked into your products, they made the transaction. However, you have 2.96%, for example, that actually waited a whole day. So it's very important to see. It will show you how long does your product require, or what's the time for the client to actually think before they purchase your product. Because some products would require more thinking, especially if it's an expensive product. If we're discussing electronics or cars, those products would require a lot of thinking. As well, you can see not just the time, the visits to transactions. So how many visits did the user do before they actually made a purchase? You can see that you have people that made up to 25 visits. You have 11.33% that actually visited 25 times before they actually made a purchase. Another interesting information, or another interesting information that we can get from analytics when it comes to e-commerce is the all traffic. You can see here where exactly so where was the user before they actually made the transaction. So you can see the different sources, mediums of traffic with respect to the e-commerce purchases, of course, and you can see how much revenue each made. So you could see if your paid advertisement made more revenue than your Facebook advertisement, as you can see here. Let's see also, and of course, what's very interesting is the per visit value. You can see how much approximately it costed you for the visit from each of these sources. So if we can look at the slide in front of us right now, the organic search is what's costing you the highest for people when people make a transaction. What's also interesting here is that you can track e-commerce. You can track e-commerce for non-e-commerce. For example, if you see here in front of you, you have a form. It's not a product, it's not an online store, it's just submitting a form. However, you'd like to see if someone selects how many people selected bronze versus how many people selected diamond. So that's what you want to look at. So what's interesting here is that you can use the same code. However, you you make edits under the _add item category of the code, where you say the product name is bronze, the category is lead, and the price is 1. Whereas for the diamond, you say the product name is diamond, the category is lead, and the price is $5. And as well, you have quantity 1 for both. And what's interesting here is that if you set up normal goal tracking or normal conversion tracking, what the system would show you, it will show you an average. It will show you an average value, but you would not know which of these leads were being selected, and that is if you're assuming that you had a goal, calling it form submission. However, if you use e-commerce code to sell a product called lead, then you can differentiate both value to you, and you can differentiate the value, and you can even use the product name to differentiate the type of lead it was. So that was the last note for today. We discussed the importance of tracking your traffic. It's very important to understand the source, the median, and to understand how to create a UTM tracking code in order to ensure that all the information you're giving back to your advertiser, or you are looking into with your own advertising, is accurate information. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, either through our support lines, so you can give us a call anytime, send us an email, or also chat in, and you can also send your questions using hashtag AskArabia on our Google partner on our partners page, and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you, especially that. In the coming few weeks, we will be having our questions, our Q&A hangout on air. So please feel free to send all your questions, and we will address them in our next hangout on air. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one.